The peak season should tighten control, not break it. So if your labor cost performance versus plan variance expands during high demand months, it's not a revenue problem, it's a workforce planning failure. So strong operators leverage volume to improve labor efficiency, while weak operators allow overtime and reactive staffing, which will erase margin. So to get started, what we have is we have this data set here, which is just all your transactions. So what the only thing we really need to calculate is going to be, it's essentially these two columns. And this column here is the sum of this, right? I mean, I'll show you. So equals the sum of this. And you can see this equals this. I guess I removed the formula here. I'll just do it again. Oh, okay. And then we need the end of the month. We need this here, and we're doing it off of the period end, not the pay period. So equals EOMONTH for end of month, period end, comma 0. And you can see here that it's the end of the month. Let me just center everything. And then what I'll do with these is I will just change it just a little bit, just to make it sort of obvious that it was changed. But yeah, so we already have these two columns here, so I'm just going to delete this. And so now to get started, we need a unique list of this, and then we need to bring in the budget. So there's a budget monthly tab, and so you should have something like this, assuming you have a budget, and then just bring in, payroll budget by month. And this is the same EOMONTH here. The same function we just did, it's the same one here. And so that's the formula right there, but let's do it again. So equals unique. So we want the unique of the month here. And make sure you're doing the table. So we have that here. And then I'll just center this. And then I'll just copy and paste the other ones. But we have budget versus actual, or I guess actual versus budget. And then I'll show you how to create that chart with the sort of a range or a band. And so actual, let me try to make this a little bit wider. So actual here is going to be the actual of the payroll transactions, the actual of this. And so equals SUMIFS. So we want to sum this here, comma, if, right, sum if this here, comma, is cell B3. And so we have that, just like that. And then you can double click to get all the numbers. So the budget is a little bit different because we have it here. So we need to say, okay, find the month and then give me what's to the left of it. And so you can do index match, you can do XLOOKUP. Let me see what I did here just to see. Okay, I showed you index match here. So what I'll do now is I'll do XLOOKUP. So equals XLOOKUP here. So the first argument is, what do you want to look up? And then the next argument is where is the range of all these, of all the dates that you're looking for? And it's right here. You can highlight the whole column. You could also do it this way. I'll just do the whole column, comma. And then now, what number do you want to return? And it's the budget, is the payroll, right? Comma, if not found, I'm going to just press another comma because that's not going to matter. Like everything's going to be found. But if you wanted to put something, you could put a 0, you could put not found, you could put whatever you want. And then search, or here, we want 0, an exact match, comma. And then you can stop there. You can put, but let me explain it to you. So this part here is saying, do you want to search top to bottom? So say you had a lot of values that were the same. Do you want to return the top value or you want to return the bottom value? But we don't care about that because there's only one January 31st in the data set. And so we got that here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to calculate this variance, which is going to be actual minus budget. And then is it a positive or a negative, right? So in other words, a positive number here means that the actual was 9% higher than the budget, right? And then I'll explain these two in just a second. So here equals actual minus the budget. So you were plus 15,000. And then the variance is going to equal 15,000 divided by budget. Is it divided by budget? I think no, 15,000 divided by actual, not the budget. Yeah, the variance is going to be the variance dollars divided by the budget. Sorry, I was backwards on that. So then now what we want is we want a lower control limit and then a band height. And I'll explain these to you. It's a little bit confusing, but what we'll do is we'll do minus 10%, make this equal this, and then go here. And then for a band height, we'll do 20%. And I'll show you what all this is. And this right here is only if you want that gray band. You might not even need it. You might just want a single line, which is actually a lot easier to do. But now what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the variance percent. Then we're going to put that band to say, okay, if any of the columns are inside that band, you're good. If they're outside, then they don't meet your requirements. So what we have to do here is we want to highlight the month, and then we want to highlight the variance, and then the other two as well. And I'll show you. So month here, hold down Control and highlight these two, and then go to Insert, and then Recommended Charts. And so you can see the band right here, but the reason why you're seeing 20 here is because we're doing a band height. But if you want to fill in the gap with the color, then you have to do it this way. And I'm just showing you a different way to do it. I'm not saying, it's the best way to do it. But with these two right here, you need to do right here, a stacked area and a stacked area. Because now what you can see, the range we really want is minus 10 plus 10. So it's saying go minus 10 and go up 20%. So the first 10% of the 20% takes minus 10 to 0, and then the next 10 takes it to the upper band. And then you can click OK here, and you have this. And then let's change that color. Just double click here, and then the paint bucket, and then let's see, is it fill? Yeah. So right here, you can change the color to, I don't know, light gray or something. Let me zoom out a little bit. I can make these columns a little bit smaller as well. And so, yeah, that's how you create it. I mean, again, I understand that the hardest part of any of this is getting your data structured. Okay, one last thing. Let me fix the dates here, just to make it look like this, and I'll show you how. So all we have to do is highlight this, press Control-1, and you're not going to see it under the date. You're going to see it under custom. And so what we can do is we can just change how we want it to be. So maybe you want to like this. See how it's January 25? And you can also do it if you just want 125. You could do that as well. Essentially, so it doesn't take up so much real estate. But if you want to have the actual 3-letter, so you can see 4M's gives you the whole word of January. 3M gives you the abbreviation. So you might want to like that, just to not take up so much, space. But yeah, so that's how you calculate this. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. question.databoards. If you want this file with the completed solution, with all my formulas and stuff like that, there's a link to download it, or just shoot me an email. Let me change this to data. Also, if you need some help, recreating these files or getting KPIs into your data, then again, just shoot me an email, or there's a link to my calendar. But anyways, that's it for this one, and I will see you in future videos.